Frey says that some of the films depicting both sides before the fall of the wall engender nostalgia for specific objects as well as subtle differences in banal everyday life for citizens on both sides for aspects of life that have become different post-unification. He also says that while some aspects of cinema matured, unfortunately others regressed and simply began portraying life in the manner as previous films had, which was essentially an incongruous distortion of reality that had been pieced together through the amalgamation of multiple viewpoints presented in films that may or may not have been completely rooted in reality. Although also, the unconventional delivery of historically inaccurate dialogue is sometimes used to transform the reality of what is being presented on screen to fit the necessary mold through which filmmakers can tell their intended stories. Specific aspects of mise-en-scene are also employed to essentially skew the reality of a scene to invoke specific emotions in viewers as desired by the filmmaker, essentially employing a cinematic sleight of hand to force the audience to feel or think a certain way regardless of what is being presented on screen. This can be done multiple ways, but is specifically accomplished through the use of socially identifiable imagery and or music to which audiences are already culturally conditioned to respond to in a specific and certain manner. Armed with this knowledge, filmmakers can, in essence, force their audience to feel or respond a certain way to events on screen against their will, in the same manner that a skilled magician can refocus the audience's area of concentration and point of view as necessary to keep hidden the aspects of a trick that must remain unseen in order for the performance of a trick to be considered successful. He also says that while the lack of adherence to historical accuracy may be done for cinematic effect, it may also have the adverse effect of turning viewers away from the content of films as it may damage a work's credibility and therefore audience believability. Now, this isn't necessarily a negative with regard to filmmaking, but rather an acknowledgement of the immense skill required to tell a story on screen while having the audience feel and react as the filmmaker wants, which may be in stark contrast to how social norms would otherwise dictate and influence a viewer's immediate and visceral reactions. Although complex, the removal of a viewer's conditioned response from the film viewing process affords the filmmaker with immense power and opportunity to force viewers to think, react, and feel a certain way about any given set of events or circumstances. Other common techniques used in contemporary German cinema are the use of flashbacks and montages to set the scene for how filmmakers are attempting to influence the thought and emotional process of viewers. Now, obviously, this doesn't happen in every movie and isn't necessarily visible or tangible aspect of a film. It is no doubt commonly used by filmmakers and is a very useful and important technique and must be employed skillfully and correctly in order to achieve a filmmaker's desired outcome. But obviously, if employed correctly, an audience would not necessarily be able to immediately recognize that this had taken place, but it would no doubt have successfully achieved a filmmaker's goal of telling the story that they wanted to tell while having the audience react to it exactly as they intended them to react to it.